I'm Simona Cardoni, and you're watching Awaz News. Canada take directions from Putin rivals to sanction 10 more Russians over Ukraine. The calm before the storm, GTA gas prices set to surge past $2 a liter. Ford government spending $763 million on retention payments of $5,000 for nurses. Canadian oil is the solution to the energy crisis. Ottawa announces COVID-19 rules for return of cruise ships to Canadian ports. A woman in life-threatening condition and 2 children taken to hospital after incident at Mississauga home. LMIA exempt work permits for employers. Canada's McKeever wins 14th Paralympic gold medal, defends 20 kilometers cross-country title. Major League Baseball reacts angrily to locked-out players, season still off. Messy mix of winter weather to hit Toronto region Monday. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced sanctions against 10 more prominent Russians today as he stood shoulder to shoulder with his British and Dutch counterparts and condemned Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. The new sanction came on the first stop of 4-country tour of Europe as Trudeau met allies from across the continent to discuss and coordinate the West's response to Russia's invasion. Trudeau's domestic problems followed him overseas as protesters greeted him outside 10 Downing Street, cursing at him and waving Canadian flags and placards calling the release for Tamara Leach, one of the organizers of last month's truckers' protests in Ottawa.
And was able to talk a little bit about the situations we're facing and draw on her long experience for having seen much over this past decades. When I met earlier with Boris, we discussed stronger security ties, continuing to defend our shared values, continuing to work together on advancing free trade and creating more middle-class jobs, and also on climate action, where we need to build a sustainable, secure future. I also had a bilateral meeting with Mark Rutte, where we talked about the enhanced importance of NATO, continuing to work together to fight disinformation and protecting freedom of the press, and continuing to work strongly with our friends in the European Union. But of course, throughout, the focus is on the people of Ukraine and our solidarity with Ukraine, our pushing back against the illegal Russian invasion of Ukraine, and standing up for democracies around the world. Le Premier ministre Johnson, le Premier ministre Rutte et moi avons parlé de notre réponse commune face à la Russie. On se mobilise pour répondre à la crise.
Russia, we mobilize to meet the humanitarian crisis. We insist for Russia to implement a ceasefire to protect the civil population. And obviously, we insist for Russia to end the invasion and leave Ukraine.
Working together to mobilize the global community to step up to support Ukraine, and we'll continue to defend democracy and the values that underpin it, and continue to make sure that Putin is held accountable. Today, Canada is announcing new sanctions on 10 individuals complicit in this unjustified invasion. This includes former and current senior government officials, oligarchs, and supporters of Russian leadership. The names of these individuals come from a list compiled by jailed opposition leader Alexei Navalny. These sanctions put increased pressure on Russia's leadership, including on Putin's inner circle. This is, of course, in addition to all the other sanctions we've announced, including our recent announcement on imposing massive tariffs on Russian and Belarusian imports. The work we're doing together is punishing Putin and his enablers where it hurts most, in particular by crippling their financial systems and sanctioning their central bank. So far, in aid for Ukraine, Canada has sent about $1 billion worth of financial assistance and humanitarian aid, but we have more to do. Demain, je serai en Lettonie pour rencontrer.
Tomorrow, I will be in.
Gas prices in the GTA have went up a staggering 25 cents per liter over the last week, but one industry analyst is warning this may be the calm before the storm and ongoing geopolitical tensions in Eastern Europe. But Dan McTeague, who is the president of Canadians for Affordable Energy, says residents can expect to face more pain at the pumps as the reverberation from Russia's decision to invade Ukraine continue to push the price of Brent crude higher. A number of officials, including Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown, are calling on the feds to hold off on that tax increase. The Ontario province confirms that it will be investing more than $700 million to provide retention payments of up to $5,000 to eligible nurses in the province. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, nurses have stayed on the front lines with remarkable dedication and selflessness as they care for our sick and most vulnerable Ontarians. And we know that a strong nursing workforce is crucial to supporting the province's recovery in the months and years ahead, Deputy Premier and Minister of the Health said in a written statement. Alberta Energy Minister Sonia Savit said the province's oil industry could help relieve the strain the global supply crisis around energy. Savit said that Canada could move more oil to the U.S. as oil prices reach $120 per barrel, up from $83 per barrel in January. Russian oil has been a less desired commodity since the country's invasion of Ukraine 2 weeks ago. The country has been exporting 4 to 5 million barrels of oil per day and 2 to 3 million barrels per day of refined product. The federal government is announcing strict COVID-19 rules for return of cruise ships to Canadian ports next month for the 2022 season. Federal Transport Minister Omar Al-Gabra told reporters in Halifax today that cruise ship employees and passengers must be fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The minister says no passenger will be allowed off a cruise ship unless they meet the requirements, which will be enforced by Canada Border Service Agency. A woman and 2 children have been taken to the hospital following a reported disturbance in Mississauga's Erin Mills neighborhood this morning. Police said that an adult female was found outside the residence with obvious signs of trauma and was taken to a trauma center in life-threatening condition. 2 children were also taken to hospital. Police said that one of those children sustained unspecified injuries and was transported in non-life-threatening condition, while the second did not sustain any physical injuries but was transported as a precaution. Footage from the scene this morning showed police tape restricting access to a garage at the back of the townhouse complex. Blood was also visible on the pavement outside. You might be able to hire a temporary foreign worker without doing a labor market impact assessment called as LMIA, or even bring people to work in Canada without a work permit if they fall under one of these exemptions. If your hiring situation falls under one of the IRCC's LMIA exemption code or a work permit exemption, you will not need to undergo the LMIA process. Before you hire a foreign workers under the IMP, you will need to pay an employer compliance fee and submit an offer of employment through IRCC's employer portal. Brian McKeever won Canada's second gold medal of the Beijing Paralympics, easily defending his title in the men's 20-kilometer cross-country vision-impaired race this Sunday. It's a 14th gold medal and 18th medal overall in the Paralympic for the 42-year-old from Calgary. McKeever, in his 6th and final Paralympics, was the 3-time defending champion in the event and a clear favorite heading in the long-distance race. After spring-like conditions on Sunday, Toronto and surrounding regions are expected to get a wintry mix Monday with rain, freezing rain, and wet snow in the forecast. Precipitation is expected to bring Monday morning as a mix of ice pellets and freezing rain. Near midday, as temperature climbs above the freezing mark, precipitation will change over to rain for some areas. Thank you for watching Awaz News and stay tuned for more updates.